at 12 noon on this Monday, November the 3rd, 2025, coming to you from our studios at City National Arena in downtown Summerlin, Nevada. Welcome to Nighttime at Noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas. D'Uva, Shane Hnidy here for this edition. 11 games into the regular season for the first place Vegas Golden Knights. We welcome you not only on the radio, 98.9 FM, 1340 AM, but of course all along the Golden Knights' various streaming platforms, YouTube, Twitter, X, Twitch, and Facebook. And for those of you who would like to send us along some questions during the broadcast, we welcome those. Just leave them in the comments. Type away. YouTube, Twitter, X, which is the same thing, Shane.
I know.
Twitch and
Dave's the one who needs the clarification on those certain adjustments.
So the crew is monitoring those comments. So if you have questions for us, we'll try to get to them later in the broadcast. Also later in the broadcast, Shane, we are expecting to be joined live in the studio by Golden Knights netminder Carl Lindbom, who made his NHL debut. Now 2 games played for the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah, it's interesting. I always talk about it, and we do. You know, injuries are unfortunate. Certainly love to have Aiden Hill there, but when injuries happen, it creates opportunities for others. And Carl Lindbom had, chances, would you see him? But he's come in, and how about your first 2 games? You're going to go against the Tampa Bay Lightning with Nikita Kucherov and Braden Point, some elite offensive skill in your second against the Colorado Avalanche, and seemed unfazed in both. Played like a guy who'd been around the league. So good for him taking advantage of that opportunity and making the most of it. Certainly good to have, and just 22 years old. So, so much room for growth in what's already a very veteran-like, solid, steady game.
Yeah, it's remarkable. And if you haven't heard Carl chat, you will hear on the broadcast. But you said it, Shane. He's 22 years old. Yeah. Gary said to me off the air before the game in Raleigh, Carl and I had chatted for a pregame interview. Gary listened to it, said, Dan, don't take this the wrong way, but one of you two sounded more composed than the other, and it wasn't you. Like, that's a 22-year-old who's an athlete versus the 40-year-old who's a professional, quote-unquote, broadcaster. And I had to agree with him. And Carl was just that smooth. A couple of great stories. We'll ask Carl to share in his own words about his family. Not the first time he had been to a Tampa Bay Lightning game. We'll get to that. It's just astonishing how someone can, make that sort of an impact and then, be right in the mix of things. We'll ask him a question that I've asked a few of the goalies here, because right now there's 4 guys. 2 can't play right now, in Hill and Hart, but for Schmid and Lindbom, very much an opportunity to present what they can do at this level and how are they thinking about it. So we'll ask Carl those questions coming up. Before we get more into the goalie department, Shane, and the schedule ahead and recent play for the Golden Knights, let us first talk about the gala last night that
incredible.
The Golden Knights hosted. It is, once again, Kim Frank and the staff did a fantastic job for the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation, raising tons of money. And I have to say, every year I am more and more impressed. You and Dave did a terrific job as the MCs.
Well, that's debatable, but yes.
But it was another terrific event.
It really is, and it's great, and I think, as a former player, I think it's an event that the players look forward to. It's, as you mentioned, so well done. People coming in and, of course, giving back to charity, first and foremost, but presented with amazing food and just the whole setup, the layout. It's very Vegas, which you love. You couldn't do this anywhere else, but tremendous time had by all, and, happy to be a part of it and to go there. And I didn't get to all the serving stations because Dave and I were speaking, but I hit some of the important ones. There's a few I would have liked to hit, but
such as?
Oh, I missed the carving. I'm the big meat guy. I didn't even get there to that part of it. But you're pasta, however you want to. You're Italian. I got to that station, which I don't eat a lot of, and it was Dave was at the desserts. He had like 6 some warm brownie smoothie,
and that's usually my department. But I did not make that. I found myself stuck right in front of the seafood area, the shrimp and the lobster.
Oh yes,
stuff.
I hit that too. That was tops.
But you know what? To your point, Shane, the thing that comes to my mind each year when you have an event like this, the players who are new to the organization, and they see the support at T-Mobile Arena, they field around town, practice facility here in Summerlin. But when there's an event like that, I wonder what they think. And I don't want to disparage any other NHL organization, but for if it's Mitch Marner, Colton Sissons, Jeremy Lauzon, and Carter Hart. I'm just looking at and even Cole Reinhardt too, who's mostly been in the American Hockey League. Carl Lindbom is just up. For several of these guys, was their first time being at part of an event like this. Kind of shows you what the Golden Knights organization and this community is all about.
I know, just going to say that's been from day one of the staples of this organization is for the community, and that's what it comes back to. These players are coming to help raise money, to give back to the community, and they've always, whoever's been part of it, it's kind of built into the identity, to the culture of this group that, hey, this comes with, yes, performance on the ice, number one, but also we are involved, we give back with our time or any other way they can, and and then to do it in such a spectacular kind of fashion, a grand, as you said, it's very grand when you go in and you see girls on stilts and dressed up, and it's like a show and a foundation gala all in one. It's fantastic.
And there's all of the money raised is for the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation. There's silent auction, live auction, and believe it or not, we were one of the prizes for the live auction.
Yes. Thank goodness people are generous.
That's right. That's right. It's something that you might want to consider for next year. You get to bid on a dinner with the broadcasters, and thank you very much for those who multiple people were bidding on it. Astonishing, of course, but we appreciate that. Congratulations to Kim Frank and everybody with the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation that brought that together. Really a fantastic night, a golden night, so to speak. As we get back into hockey here, Shane, the Knights are in this weird part of the schedule where at one point they had no games for 4 days. They flew across the country and then played 3 games in 4 days. Then they came home and played a grand total of 1 game in 6 days, and that was against Colorado. That ends with tomorrow against Detroit, and then you get more into a routine here of game every other day. But a weird, funky thing, especially in a season with a compressed schedule, that the Knights have had these weird stretches without a lot of hockey.
Well, and Bruce has to be the first to say they're not going to make excuses, but I can. I can say it is not an ideal schedule.
Yeah.
You want to get going, especially at the start of the year. You want to keep playing. They were playing so well before they headed out on that trip, and then it was a bump in the road, and finally got their game back in Carolina. Then you come back home that first game, and then still trying to get it. You just want to go. Players want to play games, and you'd rather have a little bit of this break kind of in the back half as you're gearing up at that point, hopefully in a playoff position. But this is the hand you're dealt. You've got to deal with it, and I think they recognize that. I think it's good now. The next 5 here to finish off this homestand, and it's an important one. You'll look. I was looking, it's incredible, the parity this year.
Yeah.
How close it is, especially you look at the East. And even in the West, outside of, maybe the Flames and the Blues, everybody's still in it. And there's no really secure position. So you could talk about banking points early, and especially at home. These are important 5 games coming up for Vegas.
The Golden Knights have 15 points. So do 2 other Pacific Division teams, the Ducks and the Oilers, also at 15 points. The Kraken and the Kings, 1 point back at 14. I'll say that in another way. 5 teams separated by 1 point atop the Pacific Division standings. Even the lowly San Jose Sharks are only 4 points back of the Vegas Golden Knights.
Yeah.
And then you have the last place Calgary Flames, who are at 8 points. Also with 8 points, Shane, the St. Louis Blues. They did not see the Blues coming into the season anyhow at that spot, tied with Calgary for the lowest total.
They were how many seconds away from knocking off the Winnipeg Jets last year in the first round, the President Trophy winners, and you looked like they took a massive step forward getting into playoffs, and then what they did in round 1, and now it's kind of a huge step back. So certainly some concern there, but that's for St. Louis to worry about. Thank goodness. We just focus on the Golden Knights and how difficult. Of course, you mentioned the Ducks. Same amount of games. Good thing is they do have some games in hand, and with the way the schedule's gone, they will have games in hand that they need to take advantage of. The Oilers and a few other teams, the Kings. So again, getting points right now, and certainly trying to get healthy again too. They got some key guys out.
And that leads us right into the next news and notes conversation, Shane, that is with these days in between.
Well, that's
these guys who have not seen hockey of late are practicing with the team and could very well draw back into the lineup. I'm speaking specifically forward Colton Sissons, who's missed the last couple of games, lower body injury, and Noah Hannafin, who we have not seen since the overtime injury in Game 1 against the LA Kings. He's missed now the last 10 games. Both of those guys, Sissons and Hannafin, have been practicing. They're on the ice. They're wrapping things up just on the other side of the glass here. And we don't know for sure that either of them will play tomorrow, but it's certainly leaning in that direction.
Well, it's looking like it's going to, at some point, if it's not tomorrow, Thursday. So at some point in this homestand, and you just hope it's sooner than later. I'm sure Bruce Cassidy will address media here shortly, and we may get an update. But Noah Hannafin to me is you missed that part of it. Already Alex Pietrangelo, we know the year. And then you take Noah Hannafin, who just, plays in every situation. Plays big minutes. You can play power play if you need to. He's certainly a big part of the penalty kill. He skates so well. Such a good defender. Moving the puck, one of the best, exit men, breakouts for the Golden Knights. So he's a real important piece to get back in. And of course, Sissons brings that fourth line. And with that, the way Howden's playing, I think it just immediately kind of elevates him. So gives you a little more depth throughout. Two important pieces that they hopefully can get back here. Well, we'll say maybe tomorrow, but if not, look like Thursday.
A couple different things you bring up there I want to ask you about. First, with respect to Noah Hannafin. He's missed more games this year, 10, than in any other season of his career. He has missed, in his entire career, a grand total of 33 games, 10 of which have just happened. That's astonishing. And a couple of those games missed were just end of the regular season, rest up for a day because the playoffs are coming. The only time that he had significant time missed because of injury, there was a collision, he hurt his shoulder and missed the last 9 games of his season a few years ago with Calgary, and he would have missed playoff games had that season continued. But other than that, he has been among the more durable guys on the blue line in the league.
And hopefully you're right back to that, right? That's exactly what you want. And nobody likes to sit out. It's not fun as a player. And for him, whenever he gets back in the lineup, there's going to be, an adjustment period. I think the good thing about him is it starts with his legs. He's such a good skater, his ability to close gaps, cut plays off early. And then, everything else, just the timing, the pace, the puck skills that come back in a game that you can't replicate. You can replicate skating. You skate a lot. The physicality, that's an element. And then just the touches with the puck. And, a veteran guy, I'm sure it won't take him very long to kind of acclimate himself back up to game speed and to be ready because I think he just adds so much to this team when he is healthy and in the lineup.
Yeah, it's been several days since he suffered the injury, of course, Game 1 of the season. It's been a few weeks. But he's been on the ice skating. But he's only joined the team for on-ice sessions the last couple of days. So we have that to look forward to. I've got another question that's somewhat related to Noah Hannafin. I'll ask you that question, Shane, after we come back.
Sounds good.
We're going to take a break. First, I want to tell you about the Golden Knights Food Drive. They're hosting the Food Drive at Toshiba Plaza Thursday, November the 6th, just a few days from now, and that's before the Knights play the Tampa Bay Lightning. So bring your non-perishable items on Thursday. The food drive begins at 5 o'clock. Donate items and receive a special poster while supplies last. And if you cannot attend the game, you can drop off items at any local Nacho Daddy beginning today through November the 6th and receive a free margarita.
Oh,
Shane's ears just perked up at that one. Again, the food drive, Toshiba Plaza, Thursday, 5 o'clock. And if you can't make it there, donate at Nacho Daddy starting today and receive a free margarita over at Nacho Daddy. That's the food drive coming up this week from the Vegas Golden Knights. You are listening to Nighttime at Noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas. 12:17 Pacific Time here on this Monday, November the 3rd, 2025. Nighttime at noon, coming to you from Studio 31 at City National Arena in Summerlin. D'Uva, Shane Hnidy with you today as the Golden Knights embark on their 12th game tomorrow. Detroit Red Wings are here. The Knights continuing a pretty long homestand here, Shane. All of the games on the homestand. 6 of them on Fox Sports Las Vegas, as always, 98.9 FM, 1340 AM, and on Scripps Sports. You get to hang out with Dave Gosher and company. So we have that to look forward to on the broadcast side. The Detroit Red Wings coming in, a little bit of a resurgence, having missed the playoffs for a while. They made the playoffs every year for a quarter century, but they have missed it. And maybe this is finally the year where the Detroit Red Wings are in the playoff picture.
Well, 9-4 and playing well and doing it without one of the guys you thought could help get them there, and Patrick Kane, who's been out of the lineup. Yeah. So they've had a real, and credit to the Yzer plan. That's how it's said properly. Steve Yzerman, of course, general manager. They've been patient with this group, and they have a lot of these young kids that have really kind of came up. I think Larkin's playing some of his best hockey. Still need your veterans to lead the way. And he's been terrific, but some young ones around them. Still got DeBrincat, Lucas Raymond, who's going to be a star. He's still young. Mo Sider, some size on the back end. A lot of their draft picks, who Detroit always kind of known for going off the board, have been able to find some of those players that just turned in. I always think of Zetterberg, and there's another guy named Datsuk, late round picks that came in and played well. They kind of have one playing right now in Emmett Finney. Yeah. So it's going to be a tough test here for the Golden Knights, a very confident Red Wings team coming in, very motivated team. But as we hear the head coach Bruce Cassidy talk, I'm sure they'll scout, they'll look at what the Red Wings do, some of their tactics. But when it really comes down to it, it's about, I think, the Golden Knights getting to their game. They're still trying to find that, secret recipe to start the right way and get to their game quickly and just execute their game plan, because when they do, more often than not, they're going to come out at the right end at the end of the night and have 2 points.
Detroit wrapping up a 5-game road trip. So they've just beaten the Sharks in a shootout, 3-2 the other day. They lost in Anaheim 5-2. Watch out for those Ducks. As you mentioned, tied with the Golden Knights and the Oilers atop the Pacific standings. They had started the trip with wins in St. Louis and L.A. So the last game of the trip for the Red Wings coming up tomorrow at T-Mobile Arena. And I wanted to get to the question, Shane, I teased before the break. The Golden Knights looking to get Noah Hanifin back. Naturally, his offensive production is especially welcome. I wonder to what degree you're concerned or at all thinking about the amount of offense coming from the Golden Knights blue line. Right now, they are last in the NHL in points from defensemen. Last year, they finished 7th. The Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers, pretty good success for those clubs. The Golden Knights and the Panthers, 1 goal by defenseman each. And, those teams have had success in the bigger picture. But where are you on the amount of offense that's coming from the Golden Knights blue line?
Well, I'm not really concerned. Certainly you'd love to see more. I think Hanifin out of the lineup, plays a part in that. But, even Braden McNabb, I remember you talked with him. He'd like to be more offensive. Like, it's not that they don't want to, but you don't want to do it at the expense of mistakes. And I think sometimes early in the year, maybe especially you're more in a defensive mindset in games. So maybe that offense, but for the Golden Knights, they want to create more offensive chances. They want to make more plays. I think it's going to build in. It just eventually is going to, Shea Theodore is going to break through. Noah Hanifin's going to have it. I think Caden Korzak has some upside. Certainly there's guys that are more offensive-minded than others. Zach Whitecloud, we've seen him do it. I think Jeremy Lauzon has. They all have the ability. Braden McNabb makes some of the most unbelievable, his little curl and drag play coming down that left wall. So they all have the ability, some more than others. And I just think they're going to try and build that more into the offensive scheme if they can and find a way to create offense. But I'm not worried about it right now. I think it's one of those concerns that comes, eventually I'm gonna run out of using the line. It's still early.
Right.
And you get to that point where, okay, some things need to be addressed. And it's like that all year, though. Coaches are always looking for an edge, different ways to either create offense, to play defense a different way, to shut down teams. So, you're never you can be happy but never satisfied is a very common term used throughout the hockey season. It's a long year. There's ups and downs. There's peaks and valleys. So I think they'll find their way to generating more offense, and I think it does help when you do. You need to have that, as they call it, second wave of attack, and find some offense to help the team.
Yeah, so Shea Theodore has assists now in the last 3 games.
And I was just going to say that. You say that, but they've still been one of the highest scoring teams.
Right,
so
exactly.
they have such a dynamic.
Right, and that's why
group.
that's a great point. So like last year, Shea had such a hot start. I mean, he had, I think, 3 points in the opener against Colorado last year. So and Shea had the best offensive season of any defenseman in Golden Knights history last year. So you almost get used to that last season, and he's still he's got 5 assists in 11 games. Like that's not poor. It's just you kind of get used to certain things, which is why my next question was more about Shea, given the perceived increased role without Alex Pietrangelo. Of course, Nicholas Hague traded. But then you throw in the monkey wrench of Hannafin's injury, and I'm not sure that anybody has really figured out exactly what their roles are going to be going forward. Shea plays with Braden, Theodore and McNabb. That's the pair. But are they asked to play different minutes, different matchups, given Hannafin's absence, and could that trickle down?
100%. That's a great analogy right there, and the other thing he has added is he's on the penalty kill now.
Yeah.
So, those are harder minutes. He's got that, and he's always played against the other team's best, but I think probably more now with, you said, the absence of Hannafin out of the lineup. So an increased role from a defensive mindset, as I was mentioning. So maybe a lot more focus in that area, and then being put more in offensive situation, ozone draws, and that type of stuff's going to start to come. But bigger minutes, harder minutes here early in the year for Shea.
And I wanted to ask you about minutes, and I want to. It's sort of like with John Stevens and how he handles it. It seems to me that sort of game by game, different pair, in every game there's situational power plays, etc. But it's almost as if John Stevens, who oversees the Knights defensemen, has, okay, tonight, these guys played more minutes than normal last game. Let's lean on this other pair tonight. And so over the long haul, the minutes don't add up. Just looking at Theodore in recent games, the game in Tampa, which was overtime game, but still first minute of overtime, he played 27 minutes and 45 seconds, then 26 minutes and 18 seconds, the one after that. In other words, are some of these numbers getting up there, but maybe with Hannafin back, you can have John go back and forth?
Yeah. It's probably. I think they look at certain numbers, and I don't want to. Not that they've come to me and had this conversation, but I think Shea, you'd probably like your top guys. They like to balance it out. They like to utilize. They want to have 3 pairs that can play against everyone. So you've got to disperse those minutes. And when you start getting into 27, that game it was a quick overtime. So that's probably too high, right? You probably like 24. Pietrangelo usually was around that minute as the top guy. And then you can balance it out. I think anytime you have balance, whether it's through your 4 lines and through your 3D pairs, when you look at if you've had a good game, and sometimes penalties can skew it. But when you can look at the minutes, I think coaches are happy when it is more balanced. Usually the end result's really good because you've been able to just roll 4 lines, roll your 3Ds, you're in a groove, and you can play. If you're down in a game, obviously certain guys are going to get cut and the minutes are going to go. But when you're just rolling, that usually signals that it was a real solid team effort and a good game.
Yeah. So we're rolling on defenseman questions, and since I've got, Shane Hnidy here, I might as well keep rolling with defenseman questions. Caden Korczak played roughly half the games last year. He was not in the AHL at all. Last year on the roster the whole season, but played only half the games. He's played all the games this year. Jeremy Lauzon, who's changed organizations a couple of times, now you're seeing him on a night-to-night basis. How do you see those two guys? Because that's basically a brand-new pair this season. What have you made of those two together through the first 11?
I think just getting better and better. And you mentioned Korczak played half games. Lauzon was hurt most of last year.
He had not played since December 31st.
So you take that for both of them, and then, obviously a new pairing, developing the chemistry, and I think they really have. I think they bring out, Korczak's ability. He's such a good skater, getting up and down the ice. Lauzon brings the physicality, more of a veteran presence, but can still move the puck. I think this pairing is just going to grow as the year goes along, and John Stevens is a tremendous defensive coach, understanding the position and working with those guys, whether video, on ice. I think they're going to learn a ton and just continue to get better, and that's what you want. You want to see it going this way. Certainly, there's going to be little dips, but you don't want to see that. You want to steady climb You don't want to fall. You just want a steady climb from him. Dips are going to happen with everybody, but I think that's what we've seen. And to me, that's a lot. Certainly just understanding one another. I think reads on the ice sometimes, you got to be vocal, but there's nonverbal reads, whether with the eyes, whether with the hands, and you can see them pointing with one another. Reads off how they go back for a puck, taking away the hands, getting separation to create the breakout. There's little things that they're doing to me that I like a lot. I think Korczak has another element offensively, but when you're coming in the league as a young guy, your first priority is you're going to make sure take care of the puck, defend the right way, and then you build those other elements. And I think that's what's really going to happen with Caden. I think you're trying to build that base. All right, now he's got to become a consistent NHLer. What do you need to do that? All right, what can he build to his game? And slowly gets better and better. And that's why they signed him to an extension.
Yeah.
They see that potential there now, and how can he progress here as his career goes along?
And even the self-evaluations, I remember interviewing him after he had scored that goal. And he talked about the goal a little bit, but he also remarked on how earlier in that game he had a chance to shoot the puck and made a pass, and it didn't really turn into anything.
I'm sure he heard about it.
And, right. So he recognized it. He, as you said, I'm sure heard about it, but then, that attack mindset that, Bruce Cassidy has talked about, and that can be all over the ice. One more question on the defensive side of things, Shane. As it relates to the goaltenders, we talked about how right now you've got Carl Lindbom for his first couple of NHL games, Akira Schmid, who of course was in Henderson much of last year, very good in the limited number of Golden Knights games that he played. I'm often reminded of Paul Maurice's comments way back in 2017 when he was the head coach of the Winnipeg Jets, and he was asked about the Golden Knights in their inaugural season and how in the fourth game Marc-Andre Fleury gets injured. Yeah. And then the cavalcade of goalies that came afterwards. Yeah. And Paul Maurice said, because of those goalie injuries, the guys in front of the goalie, the defensemen, they had to figure things out on an accelerated timetable because they were playing in front of somebody who had minimal NHL experience. Yeah. It's not a perfect analogy, but here's Carl Lindbom, who's 22 years old, youngest goalie in the league, first couple of NHL games, and I can't help but think just human nature is you want to have the young guys succeed. You want to do your thing. And here's Braden McNabb leading the league in block shots.
Oh, absolutely. And I think you always have a little extra. Unfortunately, not being too critical, but Lindbom has not seen the best defensive game in front of him yet. In Tampa, they weren't good for half the game. They finally got to it in the third and gave him a little relief. He was the reason they got the point in my mind. I thought he was terrific in that. And in Colorado, first opening shift, the Avalanche are a dynamic team offensively. An unsavable goal by Natchez off a great play by Makar. But yes, what you're talking about, I believe there always is a mindset. All right, let's play a little extra hard in front, and you got to figure it out. You want to block shots. You want to be in the shot lanes. You want to try and box out. Let him see the puck as much as possible. Help him clear out rebounds. All those details, but to as much of your ability as you can, and it does help. I think a team, and that's a real good point. I forgot that one about Paul Maurice, but pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, it's pretty exciting stuff. We're going to have Carl Lindbom when we come back in just a moment. You are listening to Nighttime at Noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas. Welcome back, everybody, on this Monday, the 3rd of November. It is 12:34 mark on this beautiful day in Las Vegas. Dan D'Uva here with Carl Lindbom and Shane Hnidy. Before we get to Carl, we want to tell you about YouTube. And if you want more Golden Knights content, you can stay up to date on what is going on throughout the season. Head over to the Vegas Golden Knights YouTube channel now and subscribe. You can watch all access player videos, game highlights, and our newest behind-the-scenes features. Subscribe to our channel today. Stay caught up on all things Vegas Golden Knights and revisit some of our greatest moments as the Vegas Golden Knights. Carl Lindbom has had some great moments early in his Golden Knights career. Excitement with his NHL debut in Tampa, then his very first home game, T-Mobile Arena. And Carl joins us here in the studio. Hi, Carl. How's it going?
Good, thanks. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Well, before we talk hockey, what did you think of the Vegas Golden Knights Foundation Gala last night?
Oh, it was great. It was great. I had a lot of fun. It's always fun seeing our fans, and yeah, it was a really good organized.
Yeah, and raised a lot of money.
Yeah.
It is a Vegas event. I'm not sure things like that happen in too many other places.
No, I've never seen anything like that. The venue was awesome, and when we got in there, I was like, wow, this is pretty cool.
What was on the top of your food selections?
I've actually never had caviar before, so I tried some of that, and it was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
Maybe some more caviar in your future.
Expensive.
Yeah,
That is
true.
very true.
Yeah.
Well, how's it been going here? 2 games in now. You look like you've played more. I watch you play, and I'm not a goalie expert, but talk to a lot of people. They talk about your demeanor. You're very calm in the net. And have you worked through nerves? Are you nervous at all when you get in there, or is it kind of you're starting to settle into the pace of the NHL?
Of course, I'm a little bit nervous every time I go into a game. I feel like if you're not, it's kind of a bad thing if you're not nervous at all. But well, thank you. That's one of my goals to look like I belong and to kind of give a calmness to my teammates in front of me. So that's something I focus on for sure.
Was it always that way?
I'd like to think so. It's always been on my mind to kind of look calm, trying to make the saves seem easy, even if they're not. And yeah.
Yeah. You and I have talked a couple of times here, including after your first NHL game. But I wonder if you can go back and share with our listeners today what it was like when you got word that you were getting called up and you would make your first Golden Knights appearance.
Yeah. So I think it was a Tuesday or something. Hilsey got hurt, unfortunately, and I got the call from Berkey that I was going up. And then later that day, I think he told me that I was going to start on Sunday against Tampa. So that was a lot of
a lot of information.
Yeah, a lot of information. I was like, whoa, okay. So then I waited a little bit, and then later that I think the other day, the next day, Katie called me and said, hey, we're going to get your parents into Tampa, and we're going to pay for their flight and everything, and just get them there. So that was awesome.
Nice. And the interesting quirk in the story is it was not the first time that your family had come to Tampa to watch a National Hockey League game. Why is that the case?
You're right. So my mom was an exchange student in Tampa for, I believe, 2 years. And she still has lots of contact with her billet parents in Tampa. So they actually went to the game, and their kids and their kids went to the game. So we had a bunch of guys there, and we saw. I was actually there when I was, I think, I don't know how old I was, 2-3 years old, 4 maybe. And I was really sick. We went to Tampa. They played Montreal. And I had high fever, and I fell asleep during the game.
So you have been to a Tampa Lightning game before. That was your, I presume, first NHL game.
It was, yes, but I don't remember anything.
And then here we are almost 20 years later, and your first game as a player in the NHL happens to be in the same building.
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
It's kind of funny. Like, we, obviously me and my parents talked about it. Like, it's funny how it happens. It's just, yeah, weird how it happens.
Did I tell you that I met your family in the elevator at the hotel?
You did, yeah.
I did. and I just saw them, and my reaction was simply like, oh, it's the family.
Yeah.
And they're thinking, who is this guy? I had to introduce myself. Right. And but they were just beaming with pride. What was it like being with them? What did you guys talk about when you saw them after the game?
Well, after the game, it was so cool to see because my dad was very emotional and like just so proud. Just everyone was really proud, and I kind of was a little bit relieved, I'd say, after the game too, that it went well. We got a point out of it, so yeah, it was just so much fun seeing them after the game.
Yeah. I gotta ask, and I'm probably right, but favorite goaltending growing up? Do you have just one, or is there a couple? And then, now that you're at this level, is there anything you take from their game that you're utilizing?
So when I was growing up, it was always Hendrik.
Yep.
When I got a little bit older, like 12, 13, 14, Price was in his prime. He was so fun to watch. But after that, it's been Vasilevsky.
Oh.
Yeah, so making my debut against him was even crazier.
Yeah.
And I think now just taking away like his poise, I feel like he used to be he's just so explosive, so fast side to side, but now he utilizes it so good. He knows when to use it. He doesn't need to use it all the time. Same with Bob.
Yeah.
The night before I watched him play. Like he kind of saves his power, and when he needs to explode, he just does it.
Okay, now 2 things come out of that I got to ask you. One, we caught it on TV, the little tap from Vasilevsky. What did that mean to you? Did he say anything or just gave you the tap?
He just gave me a little tap. Didn't say anything.
You played well. It was a good period. You kept them in it, and he gave you this. So that must have meant something.
Oh, it did. It did. I was like, wow, he just gave me a tap. That was kind of cool. Like, no, it was awesome.
And then the other thing is I've talked to a lot of people, and they talk about your hockey IQ, and we talk about it with forwards, defensemen, and now I understand goalie. So you watch and are very technical at picking up things and watching players, just the way you explained kind of the progression of the guys you've watched throughout your career. So do you do that? Do you watch a lot of hockey on your own and specifically, obviously, zone in on the goalies?
I do. I don't watch a lot of hockey on my own, but I do. If there's a good game going on, I'll throw it on and I'll watch, and I kind of catch myself only looking at the goalie sometimes.
Yeah.
Like when they're in zone, like how he works, how he looks, how his skating is, and everything like that. So yeah, and players. When there's a video going on and I say, oh, look at the goalie, what he's doing there, they're like, you're looking at the goalie? What are you doing?
Well, and you got to know shooters too.
Yeah.
Right? Do you study shooters? I know obviously new to the league, but certainly what guys do, their tendencies?
Yeah, a little bit. So before every game, I don't think this is new to anyone, but they're scouting up players, like where they like to shoot and what their tendencies are and everything like that.
Yeah, we were talking about some of the opponents recently, and Tampa. You mentioned watching Vasilevsky, the Panthers, Bobrovsky, and then you've got the Colorado Avalanche who come into town. They have all these teams have won Stanley Cups recently, and here they come, and that is your second game, and it's your first game at T-Mobile Arena. You had not even played a preseason game at home. You'd played at San Jose, at Colorado. That was your first game at T-Mobile Arena, and it's the Avalanche coming to town. Yeah. What was that like?
It was so much fun. Like I remember skating out to warm-ups. It was really loud. I didn't expect that many people to be there at warm-ups, but no, it was awesome. I felt kind of surprisingly calm during the game, but the atmosphere was great. The intro was awesome. Just everything was so cool.
And then how did you feel the game went as it unfolded? At some point, does it just become a hockey game?
Yeah. I think after the first couple minutes, I think we as a team settled into the game after 5-10 minutes, something like that. We had a little bit of a rough start, but after that, it kind of feels like a regular hockey game for sure.
Yeah. And so you and Akira have alternated the last couple of games since you were called up. We talked about this the other day, but I want to ask you again. How do you think about this period of time where Adin Hill is out week to week? We know that Carter Hart is not eligible to play until December. So it's you and Akira right now, but there are other goalies waiting in the wings. How are you approaching this mentally from day to day, practice to practice, game to game?
Well, I obviously want to stay here for as long as I can. So I feel like I have to make a good impression every day. Work hard, and obviously me and Schmidy's our job right now is to be ready when we get the chance and give our teammates and our team a chance to win.
Okay, I got to ask some non-hockey questions here. when you're not at the rink, when you're not watching the game? How do you feel? Are you reading, watching shows, listening to music, playing golf? What are some of the things that Carl does when he's not doing hockey?
I love playing golf.
Oh, really?
I'm a big golfer. Play a lot of golf during the summers. Actually, me and my brother, my dad, and also my mom, we play golf. So anytime we get together, it's usually on the golf course. So that's I play a lot of golf.
They have a few golf courses here in Las Vegas.
So nice. They're so nice.
Where do you play it? Back home?
Back home, it's just in my hometown. Like we have a great membership. We get to play on 2 courses, which are pretty nice. And now here we play at Paiute mostly, and it's so.
I know. I played with some Swedish guys who are really good golfer. Daniel Alfredsson was a tremendous golfer.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
He was really, really good and big into the game. Yeah, there's a lot of the Swedes that love the game of golf.
Yep.
Eric Carlson's a big golfer too, I believe. So
Okay.
a lot of guys. So what's your handicap?
It's like a 3.
Oh, so you're legit.
Wow.
Yeah, I play a lot.
That's good, folks, for those of you non-golfers.
So who? I guess Petrangelo was always claimed the top. White Cloud, McNabb.
Cloud is good. Yeah.
You can take them down. You guys will be
I don't
close.
know if I can.
Have you played with other Golden Knights?
I play a lot with Holtzy.
Okay,
And when we were in Montana, we played. Me, Rhino, Sis, Howden, Colasar. So a lot of guys are really good.
Yeah.
And I think Whitey shot a 69 on that course, and so he's really good.
Yeah.
Like, he's really, really good.
Man,
pretty good.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got golf. What else are you like? I ask other non-hockey questions here. You go to the movies. Do you like to cook?
Music.
Music. What's some of the other things?
I do like music. Like a regular day for me, it's just nothing crazy. Like I like to chill out, be at home. I don't know, visit downtown, just hang out with the lady at home, and listen to music, play golf. I do like cooking. Not bad at cooking.
What's your specialty?
I like just making healthy, quick meals. I'm not in the kitchen for 2 hours. I'm in the kitchen for 30 minutes, healthy, good food, and then I'm out.
All right, so you're cooking for Shane. He's a former pro athlete here. What are you making for Shane?
I'll probably make you chicken breast, rice, avocado salad with some feta cheese.
Awesome.
Simple.
Shane's
pretty much
coming
what
over
I
for
eat
dinner.
anyways.
Yeah.
But I'm doing more because I'm just old. I got to eat healthy.
You put in the earbuds, and what's on your playlist right now for music?
Ooh, I like country.
Oh.
I like rock. I've been getting into some of the metal things actually.
Holtz likes some of the Swedish stuff like that, right? It's way over my head. I don't know.
I like the Swedish stuff too. Like my music taste is very varied. It's a big variety.
Okay. So who's Shane likes the country too. Who's your favorite country artist?
I'd say Zach Bryan.
Okay.
Zach Bryan. Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, maybe Morgan Wallen. I'm mainstream.
Morgan Wallen's coming here now. I heard my son's a big country guy. Informs me Morgan Wallen's coming down to Allegiant. I'm a Luke Combs guy. Luke Combs, Stapleton.
Yeah.
But,
Stapleton's great. I love him too. Yeah.
Yeah. Eric Church has a song about.
There's a lot I like. Yeah, it's hard to name, but I saw Luke Bryan. I saw his residency here. He was fantastic.
There you go.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I hear Bruce Springsteen is big in Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new movie. Would you go see the Springsteen movie?
Sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I heard the guy in it sings better than Springsteen.
He's pretty amazing. I did go see the movie the other day.
I think Springsteen was in Gothenburg 2 years ago.
I bet he is. The rumor is that he, like years ago, broke a stadium. Like the E Street Band was there, and like the stadium literally cracked, and they condemned the stadium.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't remember if it might have been there. It could have been Stockholm. I'm not sure. But it was a stadium in Sweden. I'll look it up for you. I'll let you know.
All right.
I'm from New Jersey, so you got to be a Springsteen.
Sure.
Carl, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank
This
you.
is great.
Thanks for having me.
Wish you the best of luck.
Continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Thanks for
that.
coming by.
Thank you.
That's Carl Lindbom, our guest.
Thank you.
Fresh off his first couple of games in the National Hockey League. We will step aside when we come back. More Nighttime at Noon on Fox Sports Las Vegas. 12:51 Pacific Time here on this Monday, the 3rd of November, 2025. Welcome back. Nighttime at noon, Fox Sports Las Vegas. Dan D'Uva here with the Sheriff, Shane Hnidy. Before we get to some final thoughts on the program today and get you set for the Detroit Red Wings tomorrow, I want to tell you about license plates. Night up your vehicle with Vegas Golden Knights plates. Show your spirit for the Golden Knights no matter where you go. They are everywhere, those Golden Knights plates. Join the fun. Become the ultimate fan and grab your new license plate today. The website, dmvnv.com/plates. dmvnv.com/plates. Right behind us here at Studio 31 is Mackenzie River Pizza. Good times deserve great food. Stop by your nearest Mackenzie River Pizza, including the one right here in Summerlin. Cheer on the Golden Knights during the next game. Overlooking both rinks in here, Summerlin, and also down in Henderson. Get the best seats at City National Arena or America First Center. Visit today or order online, MackenzieRiverPizza.com. Okay, Shane, in our final minutes here, first, I got to react to Carl Lindbom. I mean, talk about composure. And he's a Springsteen fan.
Well, kind of. I wouldn't go far to say a fan.
Okay,
He admitted he listened to his song. But, yeah, you're right, composure. I found it just interesting, like the guys he's looked at, Lundqvist, Price, and then now Vasilevsky, but how technical he is at watching and just, wow, he's got the right mindset, kind of a real pro mindset is the way I like to use it for a young man. He's got a lot of potential, and it'd be fun to watch him and his game grow.
So he played last game against Colorado. That leads us to expect Akira Schmid to play tomorrow against the Detroit Red Wings. The other thing from having watched practice today, Shane, Brett Howden, who had been fourth line on the wing, last game before that went to center after he returned from injury, practiced today on the top line with Jack Eichel and Ivan Barbashev.
Well, if Sissons is back, that allows them, as mentioned earlier, to bump Howden up and to his play. He's played with a ton of pace. I thought he was one of their best players last game. He's been physical. He, again, uses his speed, can get in the forecheck. You have him and Barbashev, get two guys that can get in there and get the puck for Jack. Not a bad plan. So I think that's one thing Bruce Cassidy, and we've seen that with Brett Howden over the years, right? His versatility.
He can play anywhere.
He can play anywhere, up and down the line, up wing, center.
Yeah.
So, he's built that. And I was talking earlier about how you build, and I think that's what Brett has done. He's built his game and came in as a reliable, like, straight line player. Then, he could play the wing or center. Now he started to add offense, that level of offense after becoming the reliable guy, and then that allows him to jump around the lineup, and a very useful player to have on the team.
Coming off a career season, again, missed a handful of games because of injury, but he told us in one of his interviews that he feels much more like himself now that he's back in there. Again, today, Ivan Barbashev, Jack Eichel, and Brett Howden, the top line. Speaking of that top line, Jack Eichel, the number one star in the National Hockey League for October, 19 points in his first 11 games. No points in 3 of the last 4, so he's now been overtaken in the overall scoring, but still a terrific month for Jack Eichel.
Yeah, I tied second with McKinnon. Shifley's jumped by, but I think Winnipeg's played one more game. So he's got a chance to tie it up. It's just an incredible start for Jack, and I think you think of Eichel, and he's just such a good two-way center, one of the best two-way centers in the National Hockey League, but has the ability. He's always put up points, career year last year, but, there's another level to that, and I just love when you watch him play. There's such a competitive nature to him. He wants to be that guy. He wants to be the difference maker, and that's what makes him special, and he has a lot this year. He's just I think to continue to grow, and, there's always, as mentioned, ups and downs, especially for offensive guys, and he hit it hot right off the start and just flew away, and hopefully get right back to that form here tomorrow.
He had 3 points in the last game of the trip in Raleigh on his birthday, his 29th birthday, and that was his 6th multi-point game. By the way, Mitch Marner now leads the team with 7 multi-point games, and up to 14 points for Mitch. Don't forget about those two guys who perhaps will be chasing 100 points both this year, and maybe others. Who knows? That'll just about wrap things up for the broadcast today. Some thanks to hand out. Andrew, Katie, Luis back in the studio. Also a huge thank you and send off to Gordon Weigers, who today is spending his last day in the office with the Vegas Golden Knights, on to a new adventure. Gordon has been with the organization since all the way back in 2018. Gordon, we love you. We will miss you. All the best. Don't go too far. Don't be a stranger.
We'll see Gordo around, but yes, tremendous person and quality man who's fortunately leaving us, but we'll see him around.
Well said, Shane. Thanks. All the best, Gordon, and all the best to you tuning in for this edition of Fox Sports Las Vegas and nighttime at noon. Talk to you tomorrow as the Knights take on the Detroit Red Wings at 7 o'clock.